Splinter puts a knife through someone's head.
Yeah. It's a little intense.
Welcome to another episode. I don't know why I did that with my hands. Is This for Kids?
Hi.
I'm Jonathan Blevins.
I am Mrs. Ruvi, but you can call me Katie.
I'll call you Mrs. Ruvi if that's okay.
I mean, if you want to, whatever works.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And today we're talking about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The old one or the new one?
1990 and 2023.
Both of them. I set you up for that, but you didn't go with me.
Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Turtles in a Half Shell.
But it's actually Heroes.
Turtle Power.
I already told you that at the beginning of this.
I know I did
Heroes
it for the
in a Half
content,
Shell,
and now,
Turtle Power.
well, that can be a post for you.
We're the
Roasting
world's
me.
most fearsome fighting team.
So you did
He's
watch.
really hip.
Okay.
Leonardo's. Wait.
I'm so
Somebody's
excited.
Cool but rude. Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude.
How do you know that?
Because I was older than you.
I was young when I watched that show, so I don't have the song memorized other than the first part.
I don't remember the thing they say for Leonardo and Donatello, just the Raphael is cool but rude. Michelangelo is a party dude.
Well, I was going to ask you how into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles you were when you were a kid, but clearly you were pretty into it.
I was average levels of into it for a kid who grew up in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Would you watch it like every Saturday morning like I did?
No.
Why not?
Didn't have cable.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So you went to the movies a lot, though,
So
but didn't buy cable.
Yeah, my dad went, my parents were divorced.
Yep.
So my dad went to the movies all the time, and my parents got divorced when I was like 6. So anything that came out before I was 6, I saw in the theaters with my dad, and then I only saw movies that came out in the summertime after that. And during the school year, my mom didn't have cable, so I only got what was on network TV, which means I watched a lot of Hang Time.
I don't know what Hang Time is. Why did you not? So how do you know the song?
It might have actually been on network TV now that I'm thinking about it, but I just don't remember watching it all that often other than to know the theme song.
It was so good.
Yeah.
The show was amazing. The idea, whoever created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a genius. Hopefully they're a billionaire because...
Well, I think that they're in trouble with a lot of environmental groups having leaked all of that ooze into the sewer.
Was that a joke?
Whoever created the Ninja Turtles.
Okay. I see what you did there. I do. Here's the thing. The show, I remember watching it as a kid and the cartoon. And when it came on, like on the weekends, my brothers and I were just pumped. Like that maybe is how my brother came up with the name Ninja, like subconsciously. Oh. We were so in love with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We pretended to be them all the time. We were mad that we didn't have 5 of us so that we could each be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. I mean, there's 4.
I am such a big fan, but I don't know how many Ninja Turtles.
This is not going on the podcast.
Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, Michelangelo.
Okay, so I'm just going to...
Unless you're counting Splinter.
We're not counting Splinter.
Why not?
This is not going on the podcast. I'm a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan.
This doesn't end up in the podcast.
Fine, there's 4, whatever. We wanted there to be 4 of us, and there wasn't, and so no one ever chose Donatello. By the way, get owned, because you know what? You remind me of Donatello. If you're a Ninja Turtle, you're Donatello. Okay?
Okay, that burn only landed because you told me beforehand that you thought I was Donatello.
We're going to talk about this.
Watching the audience being like, why is he saying it so aggressively?
I knew you would explain it. I have a friend. Just
yes,
one.
Raphael?
Just one. You think, we're going to get into this. I am not Raphael.
Nobody loves me.
I'm
Nobody's paying
Michelangelo.
attention to me. Okay.
I'm Michelangelo or Leonardo. I'm like a mix of the 2 best characters, okay? Leonardo's leadership skills and Blue for the Detroit Lions.
I'm not trying to get soda all over my shirt again.
And Michelangelo because he's fun and eats pizza, which clearly I do.
Yeah.
Not a lot, as much as it looks like, actually.
It's more of a bourbon situation.
More of a bourbon situation for sure. It's just delicious. I was a sucker though back in the day for like any of those shows that were just. I have a friend who told me that most of the TV shows I loved growing up were just made to sell toys.
Yeah.
And I was wildly offended. I was like, no, that is so dumb. I didn't have a lot of those toys. Like we had other toys. I never got like the Ninja Turtle toys. I don't think.
No. Know, the other song that I have memorized is the Toys R Us song.
How's it go?
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys R Us kid. They played the song at their every episode of everything because those shows were made up just to sell a bunch of toys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's fine. As I almost made a call back to something that should be on our Patreon, which may be available soon for some behind the scenes content because we are funny. And some of the stuff we say can't go on this podcast because it's not for kids, even though this podcast is not for kids.
It's not for kids, but that's really not for kids.
Yeah. But I was just a sucker for all those things. So I watched like Batman and Spider-Man, the cartoons.
Yeah.
And Street Sharks and Gargoyles. Do you remember Gargoyles?
I remember Gargoyles.
It was amazing. And Darkwing Duck and Power Rangers, like you name it. I watched it. And apparently it was just to get me to buy toys, but I don't care. I loved it and it was awesome. And so for me, like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I'm all in. Anytime there's a movie that comes out, a video game that comes out, I'm playing it. I'm absolutely all in. So I was so excited to watch this new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. And I remembered the one from 1990 as well, which I have fond memories of.
I had it on VHS. So I saw that movie a lot as a kid. A lot.
Before we get into that, I do want us to actually answer this question. Which Ninja Turtle do you think that I am? Like, most like?
I don't think you're terribly similar to any of the Ninja Turtles.
You're Donatello.
Oh, I mean, I agree. I am Donatello.
Yeah, because you're smart, and he's very smart.
Constantly beating you with a stick.
Yep. And
purple's the girl color.
And yes.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah. So then you can be Leonardo.
But he's not fun. He's a stick in the mud. I am not a stick in the mud.
Okay.
I'm for sure a mix of Leonardo and Michelangelo.
Mm-hmm. What was the first scary movie?
You're a mix, by the way, of Donatello and Splinter.
I'll take it. That's fine. I'm
Splinter's
totally down
great.
with it. Yeah, you're Danny from the original.
With the hockey mask?
No, the kid.
Oh, from the 1990 movie?
90 movie.
No.
I don't know.
What's the guy's name with the no, not Jason. He wears the hockey mask in the TV show.
Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. I'm not him, but I always wanted to be him.
Yeah, Casey Jones is great. Casey Jones in the 90s movie was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super cool. So we're going to talk about the 90s movie and the new one from 2023, which it was so good. But first, I want to talk about the 1990 movie. Why is that your favorite movie of all time?
I wouldn't say that it is.
Okay.
It's a good movie. I enjoyed it as a kid. Tried to rewatch it for this. I was like, this is a lot. It kind of drags as an adult. There's like a weird farm sequence that you're like, this is kind of a lot.
Did you watch that with your kids?
I watched after they went to bed because they didn't have any interest. Yeah, they didn't really care. But I have like a couple of lines from that movie that play through my head occasionally in my life. Like anytime I've ever had occasion to be involved with a crumpet, I have thought of that time where in the park where Casey Jones is there and he's beating people up. He's like, you got to know what a crumpet is to understand cricket. Yes. That every time. Yeah. Cricket or crumpets comes into my head.
Can you do any other impressions from the 1990s Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movie? Perhaps like a trivia one?
There's when they're at the farm, they're playing Trivial Pursuit, which is my favorite board game.
Okay.
Specifically the 1980 Genus 1 edition. It's actually just called Genus.
I would get 3 of those answers correct.
Okay, so there's this part that this came up for me because this question was read aloud at a game when I was playing that game, and I was like, this is the best moment of my life because they're playing it, right? And he says, what Russian novel embracing nearly 500 characters is set in the Napoleonic Wars? And he doesn't miss a beat. War and Peace. Just immediately. And so the one time I was playing that game and that question came up, I was like, no friggin' way.
And you got it right.
I got it right. Before they even finished the question, I was like, War and Peace, let's go.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you never even fact checked it. There was no internet back then.
No, I didn't.
So you just trusted that the movie was correct.
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's bold.
Well, when they started reading the question, they're like, what Russian novel? And I was like, embracing nearly 500 characters.
Yeah.
Like I knew where it was
You just
going.
knew. That's so cool.
Love that.
I don't remember any of the lines from the 1990 movie.
It's because you were
I just remember feeling good because it was so fun to see. Because like I have this thing. I took one film class, so I'm an expert in film in college.
I know that about you.
That right. And the film, what I did was I learned one thing in the whole entire class, and that is a willing suspension of disbelief. Did we talk about this last in the podcast? So for those who didn't listen, a willing suspension of disbelief, you can put yourself in when you're watching something or reading a story, whatever. It's kind of real to you. Like it feels real and you can disconnect from all the weird stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, like I get that when I watch Pokemon, Like I'm 35 and I'm still like, what if Pokemon were real? That'd be so sick. And so I just remember being a kid and being like, oh my gosh, Ninja Turtles are possible. Look at this real life movie.
Totally could happen.
All I remember.
Jurassic Park must have been terrifying for you.
Yes, it was. This is why Casper was so scary. It's not a friendly ghost. It's a scary friendly ghost. So I rewatched it recently, and it's horrible.
The Ninja Turtle movie?
Yes, the 1990 movie. No. It's not even fun. Like,
it's a little boring.
Yeah, it's boring, and the action's lame, and like I was thinking to myself,
it's actually guys dressed up in rubber suits.
Yes.
Yeah.
When I was little, it didn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't know. I had a willing suspension of disbelief.
That's true. And there's that scene where they're messing with the guy's face.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about the 1990s. I don't know how many parents out there are wondering about the 1990s movie Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. When we talked about how we were going to do this episode, I thought, well, sure, every kid loves Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Sure.
But you're saying they don't. Your kids went to sleep. And then during the 2023 movie that you invited them to, they also decided not to go.
Well, 2 of my kids went to the 2023
But
movie.
your boys.
Not the boys. They wanted to go fishing.
This breaks my heart.
I'm
the
sorry.
Ninja Turtles are no longer relevant. And I don't know if the 2023 movie is going to make them relevant.
I don't think it is. I mean, I know you really enjoyed it, but I think that's more of a nostalgia issue than anything. Yeah. But the 90s movie, it was what some of the pros to it from a parenting perspective, like the bad guy has a very obvious bad guy. Like he's getting teenagers to steal stuff and cigarettes and like,
yeah.
But like, the bad that's happening is like they're skateboarding in this underground. It's a little not that bad. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's that bad at all.
No.
What age did you say for the 1990s Ninja Turtle OG movie?
5 and up, I think, would be fine.
I'm gonna say 6 and up just so we disagree.
Okay, it would probably be boring for most kids at this point because it's guys in rubber suits.
Do you think that because it's so old and like our kids could like my oldest is 8. My middle is 7. My youngest is 3. Mm-hmm. So they're not even super familiar. They're still so young. They're not even super familiar with like what new graphics look like compared to old stuff. But even my kids would probably look at that 1990s Ninja Turtles movie and be like, "That's lame." There's either they would do that or mine would be scared. They'd be scared of the Ninja Turtles and they'd have nightmares about the big giant green things.
Not a shredder.
Not a shredder.
The Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, because they were weird looking.
They are weird looking, and. Yeah, they might also come away with the belief that they get free pizza if the guy is late, which isn't true anymore.
Was that ever true? I used to be a Domino's pizza delivery driver, and like no one ever told me that when I was doing
They stopped doing it after the Ninja Turtle movie because people the driver started speeding or something. This might be an urban legend, but allegedly it was for a little while.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It is funny to me that Domino's was the sponsor in the 1990s movie and Pizza Hut is in this new Mutant Mayhem movie. But before we move on to that, you said 5 and up.
5 and up.
I'm gonna say 6 and up, but that it's pretty pointless to probably watch that movie with your kids.
I think it's the kind of like you could probably just let them watch it. You don't really even need to be there. Nothing's happening. It's not that big a deal. The bad guy hands out cigarettes to teenagers.
Yeah, kind of like Free Willy. Little kids just stealing from restaurants. Who does that?
What's happening here?
That's a huge issue. So Pizza Hut 2023 or Domino's 1990? What are you choosing?
Oh, Pizza Hut. I mean, as a pizza, you just want me to pick a pizza?
Yeah.
Yeah, Pizza Hut. It's closer to my house.
Okay. I say Domino's back in the day before I'm one of the only people in the world who thinks this. Domino's pizza, when they changed their crust recipe, ruined their pizza. And I love garlic butter and like all the garlicky. I love garlic. But their pizza, when it was plainer, was better.
I can't say that I remember the Domino's pizza.
I do because I used to I was a professional driver.
Right. I remember that. You know what I do remember is when I was a kid having sleepovers in middle school, we could afford a pizza from Little Caesars. Before the $5 hot and ready became a thing, they still had the cheapest pizza so that all of your girlfriends spending the night at your friend Fuzz's house could get together, whatever money you happen to have on you, and afford the pizza and order it yourself without bothering her parents.
Who's Fuzz?
My friend Fuzz from Hi Fuzz. She has a real name, and I'm confident now that she's nearly 40, she doesn't appreciate being called Fuzz. But she was my friend in middle school. She's still my friend. I talked to her on Instagram.
I need you to promise me. Hi, Fuzz. I need you to promise me that you are going to let your boys see or force them to watch the 2023 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem movie sometime in the next year.
Are you going to give me the the $35 it takes to go take those boys to that movie?
No, you watch it when it comes out.
Oh, you mean on like streaming?
Yeah.
What'll it be on? I don't even know.
I don't know. It'll be everywhere because it is
Paramount Plus.
one of the best movies I have seen in the last decade.
That is embarrassing for you.
No, I am all in, and I think that
2013 to present.
Yes, like the last time I remember being this excited about a movie was.
Did you not see Jojo Rabbit?
Was The Dark Knight. Like I saw The Dark Knight, and I was like with the original, and then The Dark Knight Rises as well.
Which is
Christopher Nolan.
Which is the one with the guy that died?
That one, Dark Knight. That was
Dark Knight with the.
Oh no! You're
Ledger?
thinking. Oh, you're thinking of Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was Dark Knight. No, Dark Knight was the first one, and then there was the second one was with the Joker, and then the third one is Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, what's the second one?
The second one, I forget what the title of it is. All three of them were perfect movies, and they're in my top 5 trilogy of all time. And even the Robert Pattinson Batman was really, really good, but it was so long I didn't want to see it again right after. This movie, I would have sat through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. I would have sat through it again right after I finished watching it. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
It was a perfect movie. And here's the thing. This takes a lot for me to admit because I don't like Seth Rogen. I think he's funny.
Is it because you're commonly compared to him?
One time he compared himself to me.
Oh.
One time Seth Rogen said, I look like him.
Yeah.
My brother posted a picture of us at dinner and was like, hey, watching football with my brother at dinner. And Seth Rogen like quote tweeted it and was like, thanks for buying. Like pretending to be me.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't like that because I don't think he's a wildly handsome person, although he is very funny.
But we've established that you're a 10 out of 10.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And Seth's not a 10 out of 10. So I didn't want to like it. Like, and the reason I struggle with him is I just struggle with any kind of like adult who is like, why have kids when you could just smoke weed in your bed? like I just struggle with that, you know?
Does Seth Rogen actually say he's going to smoke weed in his bed?
He literally made a joke about how like the reason that my wife and I are never going to have kids is because we love just waking up in the morning and smoking weed in bed.
Oh, okay.
Very. It's just like one of those people who like makes it seem like being a parent is a burden. And I just really struggle with like rich people who do that. So I didn't want to like the movie because he's going to be doing it. And I'm kind of annoyed at him at the moment. But it was perfect. Everything about it. It was fun. It was smart. It was action-packed. The graphics were insane. It had a great message. Splinter was hilarious and awesome and kind. I thought it was a perfect.
That was Jackie Chan, wasn't it?
I think it was, yeah.
I think it was, yeah.
And I just thought I thought it was a literal perfect movie.
He was the perfect Splinter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go with
I can't think of one thing about the movie that I didn't like. I think of one, but it's so minor. But I just thought it was an unbelievable film.
Okay.
Thoughts?
So I didn't like it as much as you did, apparently.
I'm hurt by this.
Yeah, probably. I'm a little tired of the bad guy not being a bad guy. Like he's sympathetic, right? It's first of all, it's the exact same plot of the original X-Men movie. Like it's the exact same plot.
Wait. I don't remember that. Go on. Explain it.
Magneto's going to turn everybody into a mutant so that the mutants can become accepted. They built a giant ray. It's going to spray all over New York City. It's literally the exact same premise.
How has no one said that? I haven't heard that yet.
I don't know. I said it just now. Did it help?
Yeah, this is going to go viral. This is great.
It's the exact same premise as the original X-Men movie. So there's that. So I didn't find it very compelling on that front. But when it's somebody where like you're being treated badly, there's prejudice against you, and the bad guy in reality is society at large, I'm just kind of tired. It makes it hard to root for anything and to have a good time because you're like, I don't even want you to kill the ugly fly guy because it's sad. The reason he's upset is sad. Like he needs some therapy. He needs a nice, a hug. He needed his dad, that kind of thing. And I also felt it was weird, like the German lady, there's this miscellaneous villain that shows up halfway through and then disappears that kind of seemed odd to me. I didn't know why she was there, and she sort of came and went for no obvious reason. So I didn't love the whole plot. I would have liked it better if he was stealing TVs and cigarettes and giving them to teenagers, because then there's like an obvious bad guy doing something bad. So having a sympathetic villain always kind of makes me bummed out about the movie in general. But so there was that, and there were a couple of points where I was like, ooh, is this for kids? Ooh, and so I'm surprised you didn't hit on those because you are usually so much more careful than I am.
There's a couple which I'm going to get to.
Okay, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to get to some of those things for sure. But I thought, so in general, the premise, right? There's the turtle. It's the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle premise. There's sludge, ooze, and they become mutants. Then they want to go outside, but Splinter had a really bad reaction when he went outside because he's a rat, and he'd be terrifying to look at in the street.
So he built Splinter's School for Exceptional Children and taught them extra skills over here in the separated from the world.
Did you hear that Barbie is just Black Panther?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so funny. It's like the same thing you're saying now, except that yours is even more obvious, which is crazy. I haven't seen anyone.
I don't know why anybody hasn't noticed that. Yeah.
I can't wait to talk about this more. But like, so, and then they want to go out and they want to be accepted. The Ninja Turtles want to be accepted by society. And they want to be, and they find out that like the way to do that is probably to be a hero. And then enter April O'Neil, who is just perfect. There was a lot of drama about her.
Was there?
Yeah,
I thought
Twitter.
She was great.
It's just Twitter. People being like, "Oh, she was never black," and now who cares? She was
real.
She's not real. Yeah, she's not a real person. However, her character, voiced by the unbelievable actress, and I'm forgetting her name right now, and she's one of my favorites, and she is in the show The Bear, a show that is not for kids, but that is absolutely for parents. It is so good. Oh, you have to watch it. It's about cooking. She's unbelievable. I need to find out her name. She is so good, and she plays April, and April's character is great, and she just wants to be accepted and loved. And so you've got like this awesome pair of people working together to help each other be accepted, but then they realize like that they just need to accept themselves. And I thought that part was really cool. And like the monsters, there's monsters in the film.
The redemption arc thing.
Yeah, that was a little weird because
I liked it.
Well, I liked it too, but it was weird, right? They're never good. Those guys are never good in the cartoons. They're bad. Bebop and
Rocksteady.
Like the Rocksteady. Those are bad people they're always enemies. And pretty quickly in the movie they're just like friendly.
Yeah.
With the Ninja Turtles. But I thought that was kind of cool too. And then the Fly Guy, who, like you said, sympathetic villain, who is hilarious. Like his character I thought was
so funny.
So good. Yeah. Like you said, I loved him. So that's unfortunate because you love the bad guy. And then it ended whatever. It was really, really good. I just thought it was really good. I was fine with all of those plot things. Here is the only beef I take, like, is this for kids, kind of a thing. Because I think that the movie is perfect for middle school age kids. And I mean, like, top 5 I've probably ever seen for middle schoolers to, like, learn from. It's funny, it's smart. They use, like, Gen Z lingo, but it isn't, like, trying too hard.
Yeah.
I mean, there was so many moments I was just laughing so hard because it was, like, the language they were using was hilarious. But then they throw in the word damn once, the word hell once, and the word piss once, or pissed.
Wrote them all down. Those are my notes.
It felt so forced. Those words aren't even like that bad, but they're swear. It's not like shut up or stupid either. Yeah. I don't get it. Why? Well, the whole movie was perfect. If they avoided those literal 3 words, I would take my 5-year-old to see it. Yeah. And I might take my 8-year-old to see it still, even though like I don't want him to hear those words, because it was so good that it might like make me overlook that. But it just felt very weird and very forced.
Yeah, it was to the point that I wrote them down on my notes because I was like, this is odd. It comes out of nowhere. And what I thought was really great about it was that the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in this version are actual teenagers. They've got scracky voices like little boys do. They don't sound like 30-year-old men, which is a 1990s problem. But then just out of nowhere, the cursing. And it's not even like they're terrible curse words. There was also a moment where a guy gets shot in the face with a sawed-off shotgun that was a little rough in the garage scene.
Yeah, and you just reminded me that Splinter puts a knife through someone's head.
Yeah, it's a little intense.
It doesn't show any blood in that scene. No. But it's a knife. It's a knife through a dude's head. Yeah. I watched it with my buddy who looked at me and he was just like, Splinter just killed the guy. And I was like, he did. That was weird. But then it moved on. It was really fast. Okay, sorry. Keep going. That was wild.
Yeah, the difference really between the two movies is that the Ninja Turtles only ever beat people up. Like, they beat them up and then they run away in the 90s version. In this version, people actually get killed a little bit violently. So, but, I'm with you on the middle school thing.
But the graphics were so cool. Like, it was so cool. It was so well done. See, but I hate comic books.
Really?
Yeah. I think that now that I'm old, I think I'd get into it. Is Calvin and Hobbes a comic book?
Well, it was a comic strip that was made into books.
I mean, I love Calvin and Hobbes, but like I never was like huge into comic books.
Yeah.
And I honestly like kind of thought that I never was into that kind of graphic art. But for some reason, this movie I loved. I thought it was the coolest looking.
My daughters thought it looked really cool. I didn't care. I didn't care either way. It didn't strike me one way or the other.
It didn't give me a headache like Mario for some reason gave me a headache. Ninja Turtles was like just dope.
Yeah.
So my question for you, you obviously agree with me that Mutant Mayhem is a top 10 all-time movie. So that's clear. We've made that clear.
It's like Casablanca and then Ninja Turtles, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Schindler's
And then
List.
The Notebook and then The Walk to Remember. I'm kidding. Those are not in my top. I just really liked those movies when I was in my emo phase. Is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2023 Mutant Mayhem for kids?
I would say that it is for kids. It is appropriate for middle school aged kids and up. So 11 and up.
You're going to go 11 because of those 3 words?
Mostly because of the knife to the face and the shotgun. That would be why I would keep it a little bit higher than average. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I don't feel good when our heroes when they're kid heroes and they don't just beat people up.
Right.
I don't like it. So
yeah. This might be the first time ever that you and I have a different rating in the opposite way.
Okay, go.
I think that those 3 words and the scene of the stabbing and the shooting with the shotgun, take it from a movie that would be okay for 4 or 5-year-olds and like make it to like 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
I think if you have a really mature 8-year-old, like I think my son who has never heard those words before, has probably not seen a movie where someone kills someone, I don't think. I would probably talk to him about it beforehand and then take him to see it because I loved it that much and I feel like he would love it and like start getting into some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle lore. So I think like if you have a really mature 8-year-old, go for it. But otherwise, like perfect for middle school kids. And even high school kids are going to absolutely love it. And I can't wait. I can't wait to hear what people think about it because I thought it was so darn good.
It was very good for the middle school crowd. I think it was really good.
Are you calling me a middle schooler? I think that's what's happening here.
I don't love it in the same way that you did because it's, kid movie. And again, it's X-Men and I liked X-Men better, but it's fine.
Do you know what movie we're going to review as soon? I think it comes out Thanksgiving or Christmas. It might be called Migration.
Oh, yeah.
It's like ducks this one duck, this dad duck that doesn't want to leave the pond because he's scared and the mom is sick of it and the son is like ready to go. And they end up
in New York.
Yes, they end up in New York. That looks so good.
Yes.
Those are I don't normally love movies like that. Like
we're seeing way too many previews now because we're seeing so many movies. Yes. We
get to watch Hunger Games.
Oh, I saw that.
I
thought that was a different guy. Like I really thought that was Tom Feldman.
Yeah.
I thought it was. Is it?
I don't know.
No, all right.
I don't know. I was on my phone and then Nicole Kidman told me to put my phone away.
Maria Menounos tells me to get my phone away.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
I go to AMC.
Oh, I don't
not
have
an ad.
This. We don't have an AMC. We have a Regal. They have like a movie pass thing, so you can go to so many movies every month. I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get that too.
Yeah.
Which is super exciting. You know what else is exciting? The fact that people can find us on Instagram and YouTube and on all other platforms that have podcasts. And they can leave us comments and let us know what we should be talking about next. What movie, what TV show, what video game, what social media app, what book.
What book?
Perhaps.
Okay.
I learned in a recent episode of recording with you that books are indeed media.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. And if you have any concerns about, whether or not John's getting out enough, whether or not he's read enough things, you can leave all those on the YouTube comments. It's perfectly fine.
Yes. And let us know what we should be talking about next and leave us a 5-star review on everything. Even if you don't like us, it's really fun to leave a 5-star review and like roast us at the same time. It's just really good content.
That's hilarious. It's very funny. 5 stars, worst podcast ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Totally into it.
Until next time. Is this for kids?
This podcast?
This podcast is not.
It's not for kids.
But Ninja Turtles is for kids.
It is.
Cowabunga!
Oh, dear.